Welcome back. Well, the war in Bosnia happened between 1992 and 1995, during which around 200,000 people are estimated to have been killed. Bosnia's War Crimes Court has already found 7 Serbs guilty of taking part in the mass murder of Bosnian Muslims in 1995. It remains to be seen what secrets or new information may be revealed during Radovan Karadzic's trial. He faces 11 counts of genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity and other atrocities during the Bosnian War. But what exactly is Radovan Karadzic charged with? Well, the charges relate to several events, including his alleged part in the shelling of Sarajevo, in which around 12,000 innocent people were killed. It's also claimed he organised the murder of up to 8,000 men and boys in Srebrenica. And Karadzic is accused of unlawfully deporting and transferring civilians because of nationality or religion. On top of all these charges, he's said to have used UN peacekeepers as human shields in 1995. Well, we're still joined by our guests in Copenhagen, Payam Akhavan, in Belgrade, Vladimir Radomirovic, and in Sarajevo, Nidjara Ahmetasovic. Mr. Radomirovic in Belgrade, as our correspondent Harry had said, Radovan Karadzic might defend himself. In the past, he's also said that he refuses to recognize the legitimacy of the court. Is that expected in Serbia? Is it expected that he'll sort of drag his feet for as long as possible?
Well, we've had experience of indictees defending themselves. To remind you, Slobodan Milošević defending himself in the court, as does now Vojislav Šešelj, the leader of the Serbian Radical Party, which organized the protests against the arrest of Radovan Karadzic last night in Belgrade. I think the judges in The Hague will want to impose a lawyer on Karadzic, because they don't want to prolong this trial needlessly. They will want a quick trial and an effective trial, and if Karadzic were defending himself, this could go on for another 2 or 3 years, or maybe even 4, like in the Milošević case. Interesting. And they don't want to do this.
Let's pose that to Payam Akhavan. Is there a possibility that by refusing to accept the legitimacy of the court, Karadzic can delay this trial for months or even years?
That depends very much on the judge. There's a difficult balance here. On the one hand, to have a fair trial, the accused must have a chance to defend himself. Defending yourself in a legal sense means that you can contest the evidence that has been presented against you, and not that you can use the court as a forum for propaganda and polemics. So I think it's up to the judge, on the one hand, to ensure that Karadzic is given an adequate opportunity to defend himself, but on the other hand, to be very strict with him and not to allow the court to be turned into some sort of a platform for his political games. So I wouldn't say that he could delay the trial by months or years, certainly not if the judges are strict with him.
Nidjara Ahmetasovic, is there a feeling perhaps within Bosnia that perhaps with this trial of Radovan Karadzic, he could implicate other high-profile figures and he could reveal some secrets of some others of those dark days during the war?
That's what many people in Bosnia do hope. That's what I have read recently in local media. That's what everybody is talking about. What people in Bosnia are hoping, not only that they will hear that, but that they will hear the real reasons why this all happened to us in this country. Why did we have to suffer so much? Why so many people were killed during the war in this country? What is also very important for us, and what we hope to hear, is who are those who helped to Radovan Karadzic to hide for 13 years, actually to live seems to be very free and very happy life, because that's what we want to hear. That are the questions that we are looking to find out.
Has this trial created a bit of tension within Bosnia-Herzegovina, particularly within the Republika Srpska, the autonomous Serb province within Bosnia?
I have to say no. And many people in Bosnia are surprised because, like, during these 13 years, all the time we heard from, especially from international community, but also from local politicians, that if Radovan Karadzic and Ratko Mladic are arrested, then we will have to face like tensions, even possible conflict. But nothing is going on. It's just like peaceful, nothing is going on. And the biggest problem in Bosnia in this moment is local problems, like considering local politics and corruption and economic issues.
Mr. Khavan, the mandate for the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia runs out in 2010. We know that this trial could take some time. Is there a guarantee that that mandate will be extended, particularly keeping in mind that Ratko Mladic is still on the run, the Croatian Serb leader Goran Hadic is still on the run? Is there an absolute guarantee that, the mandate will continue?
Well, that's a good question, and I think that that's why there was significant pressure on Serbia to extradite Karadzic now. It remains to be seen how long his trial will take, and of course, I assume that the trial will begin sometime in 2009, and that it will probably not be completed by 2010, in which case it may be opportune for the Security Council to extend the actual operation of the tribunal by as many months as is necessary. And we should bear in mind that after the initial trial judgment has been delivered, there may be several months or even years until an appeals judgment can be issued. But an appeals judgment really requires a court to sit just a few days. There are many written pleadings, but the actual oral argument before the court is not like a trial where you're examining witnesses. So it may be that the court can be reconstituted just to hear an appeal once the trial judgment has been delivered.
Vladimir Radimirovic, is there some sense within Belgrade or within Greater Serbia that people feel that the International Court of Justice is hypocritical? Why Milosevic and Karadzic, and why not others?
Well, yes, and this is the point that the right groups in Serbia focus on. And the tribunal in The Hague has acquitted Naser Oric, the commander of Bosniak forces in Srebrenica, and also Ramush Haradinaj, who was one of the leaders of the Albanian KLA in 1999-1998. And these people were accused of killing Serbs, and the tribunal failed to sentence them. Especially in the Haradinaj case, there were threats made against witnesses, and the tribunal did not react satisfactorily to the threats, and this has created quite a tension in Serbia against the tribunal and its decisions. And this is why some politicians here say that yes, we should cooperate with the tribunal, but not on these terms. If the tribunal sets the murderers of Serbs free, then we shouldn't extradite anyone else to The Hague.
Payama Khavan, very briefly, there is some sense to that. There's definitely a feeling that there's hypocrisy in international justice. Yes?
Well, I wouldn't say in the case of the former Yugoslavia that there's been hypocrisy. Unlike the Nuremberg Tribunal, where, let's say, the victorious Allied powers only indicted Nazi leaders, leaders from the Serbian, Muslim, Croatian and Albanian parties have all been convicted. But you cannot fabricate evidence in order to create equivalence between different types of crime. The fact is that there is no crime which begins to even approach the scale of the Srebrenica genocide. Crimes were committed by other parties, and there have been several convictions of Croats, of Muslims, but one cannot now invent evidence that the Muslims or Croats committed the mass murder of 8,000 Serbs. That simply was not the case. So I would say that those who think that all sides should be treated equally are not looking at the facts on the ground. And at the end of the day, that is what impartial justice is about.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your thoughts. Thanks for joining us here on Inside Story. Payama Khavan, Vladimir Radimirovic and Nidara Ahmet Tasovic. And thank you so much, the viewer, for joining us here on this edition of Inside Story. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.